So now we're going to have a look at using ink and wash techniques. So you see I've got some good quality paper. This is actually some smooth watercolor paper. Cartridge paper will do, but sometimes the thicker your paper, the better the result you're getting. So you could experiment on cartridge paper. But if you want to do some really amazing final works, sometimes just buying a sheet of some smooth watercolor paper is really beautiful. I've got my palette here, some water. Sometimes I have two waters, so one that I can keep clean and one for cleaning my brushes. I've also got some kitchen towel here just to blot and my brush in between washes, so I know exactly what I'm putting on my page at each time. Here I've got my pure ink, and then I've got ink with a little bit of water and going to quite a watery mix out here. So watercolorists use this as well. They mix something that they call like Vegemite, which is really thick, then a coffee, then a tea. And that means you can work out how the watercolor or the ink's going to travel. So the thicker the paint, the less it's going to travel. So then you have control over your paints. So I'm going to use a good watercolor brush here, because it holds lots of water and you can paint for quite a while with it. The first thing I want to do is a bit of a gradation. So yeah, I could use my mixers. So I've got my mixers here. I'll put them in here. So you can see I've mixed a really light wash, very watery. You can barely tell there's ink in there. I'll blot out and then I'll go to the next one. So that's the next sort of tone. Then into the next one. And then I've got my next one with just a little bit of water in. And then I've got my ink. So it's great to be able to control your watercolors like that and be able to get like a tonal run. The other way that I can work to get a tonal run is to actually put down some water. I'm just going to put down a line of water. And then paint some ink into it and sort of let it travel. Yeah, so you can really sort of play with tonal gradation that way. Yeah, so I want to play with some different techniques, just using nice washes. So just think about how it travels. So we could put down some water here. And then just put some spots of pure ink into that. So yeah, this is quite a fun technique, just seeing how it travels. And yeah, it's just about experimenting and getting used to how the water and the ink react to each other. We could do something similar where we get down some water. And I'm going to use an old brush for this and just kind of splat in. Wow, that had a lot in it. So yeah, that's got some splatters in. I might try and do one with a little bit less ink. So a toothbrush or something can be good for this, or yeah, just an old brush. I'll just try and do a little bit less than that, be a bit more delicate. Yeah, so you can get a really sort of soft, speckled kind of feel. Yeah, so you can start then imagining what these would be good for, different textures, different patterns. Another fun one to do is maybe putting down a wash, maybe about this tone. Be a bit dark. Go just a bit lighter. putting down a tone in through there. And you can put some salt into it. And the salt actually draws the ink. So you get these great little patterns into that. You can also do this with rice, but it makes sort of different shapes. Another thing that's quite fun is masking ideas. So I've used the masking fluid for this. It's basically liquid latex. It's a brush wrecker, so don't put it into your best brush. It goes on looking like cream, and then when it dries, it goes to this sort of goldy color. Wait till it dries until you paint over it, and then you can sort of paint a wash over that. It's like a resist, so the white paper is going to stay where that masking fluid is sitting. So you can imagine for white patterns or textures, that can be really lovely. This is one I've done at another time. So I've seen artists do it for lace and those sort of things. And once your wash is dry, then you can just, it's quite fun actually, just roll this off and it starts to reveal your paper in there. Don't leave it on for too long or it does stick to the paper. And sometimes if you're using cheap paper, it's going to take the paper off. So be really wary about that. You can see I've done these techniques on, this is like a textured rough watercolor paper, and you get quite a different feel. It's kind of a softer, furrier texture and edges to your work. So different papers are going to give you really different feels. This is another one. This is a low adhesive tape. It's actually normally this blue color. It's just black here because I've painted over it a couple of times, but it's not going to tear your paper. So it's good for this sort of technique. And again, I could just sort of paint over the top of this. I've made a pattern, and when it's dry, it's just going to leave the white paper underneath. Yeah, so I just want you to have a play with a few different techniques. Yeah, just see how the different thicknesses of paint react. You could even do like quite a big piece down here, maybe getting some water into it. So just a really nice big loose abstract piece, and try a few of the different textures in. When I'm painting, I try to touch the paint as few times as possible to try to think about the marks you want to make or feel the shape you want to make, and don't go back into it too much. Yeah, it'll just make it look a lot more confident and professional. So yeah, you could do a nice sort of abstract work, and just sort of see what happens. Yeah, so have fun with that. And just experiment